Well, good evening, everybody. It's fantastic to have your company once again for European Cricket Studio Live. Wherever you're watching around the world, I'm Vinny Sandhu, Mr. Maximo from the European Cricket League and broadcaster for the European Cricket Network. Now, we've got shows in the studio this week, Monday to Thursday, 5 p.m. every day in Central Europe. So don't forget to tune in and catch all the action. The Wednesday and Thursday shows this week are 1 hour interactive chats with more guests, more opportunities for you to get involved. So don't forget to join us, shape the conversation and get up close and personal with our studio guests. Well, tonight it's time for another edition of the Maximo Show, where I interview a special guest from the cricket universe, and I'm very much looking forward to introducing you to our guest tonight. Now, if you do have any questions about anything at all, we'd love for you to drop them in the comments as we go, or you can use the special question bar feature built into the Instagram Live platform. Hopefully we'll be able to get to a couple today. But don't forget, our guest will be back on Thursday to answer even more. So if you think of any between the end of tonight's show and the start of the Thursday show, then please feel free to message them to us at European Cricket. That Thursday show takes the form of an hour-long Maximo chat where we'll be getting to more of your questions, and we'll have even more guests stopping by. So don't forget to join us again on Thursday night at the same time, because that is your chance to become part of the conversation. Well, my guest tonight, he's a current member of the Scottish national team. Indeed, he was born in the city of Aberdeen in the northeast of the country. He's represented his country since 2014 and is set to be a part of the T20 World Cup later this year in Australia, having qualified for that tournament late last year in the United Arab Emirates. He was also set to appear in this year's European Cricket League for Scottish champions Forfarshire before COVID-19 sent the world into chaos. A hard-hitting batsman, off-spinner and outstanding fielder, he is a useful addition to any cricket team and certainly a welcome addition to the Maximo Show tonight. Joining us all the way from Dundee in Scotland, please welcome Michael Leask.
Vinny, how are you? Lovely to be on your show. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely, Michael. It's great to have you with us. And we've had some great guests on the show, and we know you've done a lot of interesting things in cricket, and we hoped that the European Cricket League could be something we could add to your resume this year, but we'll just have to see how that goes. But firstly, being Scottish, tell us a little bit about how you got into the game, and is it a common thing for Scottish kids to play cricket?
Yeah, certainly. Listen, my dad played it for 30-odd years before I even came along, and then luckily I was born, and then he basically, from the day dot, I had a cricket bat in my hand and made him fetch balls for about 400 hours, I'm guessing. I don't, goodness knows how long. I mean, every time he went up to train, I'd be there with him, or he'd go to a game, I'd be along with my little bat or whatever. Got taken on a tour by my dad to South Africa in 1997, I think it was, where I had a little cricket bat delivered to my door by one of his best friends, and that from there really made it something that I wanted to make it a career, because obviously I got to go and travel around South Africa with my dad, my mum and the cricket team at the time, which really inspired me to obviously play alongside my dad and obviously just try and make it as a career. So from there...
Did you play some games in the same team as your dad?
Yeah, I mean, I played, I couldn't tell you how many, but I certainly played when I was growing up through third team, second team, and a little bit of first team cricket. I even captained my dad, funnily enough.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when I was captain of the old club Stonywood, my dad always helped me out if we had a late call off or someone was sick or something like that. So dad's helped me out on numerous occasions, even handy number 11. So always helped on occasions.
That's interesting. And well, there are the two types of cricket dad, I always think. There's the ones that are like kind of favour their kid when they're umpiring and stuff, but then there's the ones that are so worried about getting called bias that they're really unfavourable to their kid and always give them out. Now, what sort of dad did you have?
Both. I was on a hat trick on a under-13 game. I always remember this one. I was on a hat trick and my dad actually appealed. It hit the pad and he appealed and he had to give it not out. So it was stone dead. He was umpiring at my end. I was on a hat trick and he had to give it not out because it was stone dead plumb. He appealed and I was like, well, what now? And he goes, I can't give it out. I was like, oh, well, that's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? And then you've had the other side of the coin where I've been batting Dad's been umpiring, trigger finger, hit the pad, out, gone, don't even think about it. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's my mentor for a long, long time now. So, I mean, you got to have both sides of the coin, don't you?
Yeah, and you said he still plays the occasional game in Scottish club cricket if they need a body. And how old is your dad now?
He's 72. Yeah, I mean, he's played last year. I think he played for the Grade 3 team for my old club, Stonywood. I mean, he helped out and still takes the odd amazing catch at his age, diving catches at 72. So I've heard all about them for a long, long time now.
Well, isn't that inspirational to everyone playing the game at the moment, no matter whether you're playing in Europe or around the world? The fact that perhaps with a slightly changed role, you can play cricket well into your 60s, even 70s. Has anyone known anyone that's watching perhaps older than that? Leave it in the comments and let us know who the oldest person you've played with. Yeah, I remember these people, they like it actually. I've played a few games when we needed a player and they come back after 10 or 20 years and they've got all the old gear, don't they? They have their bat from like 1986 and maybe the double scoop or something like that. And,
oh, no,
and they love to get back into it.
No, he steals mine. So when he needs the bat, he just grabs mine and goes and cracks on. So yeah, I think he's still got a couple of bits and bobs up in the loft now, but yeah, it might need to be dusted off.
And so growing up, were you considered more of a batsman or a bowler or an all-rounder? Or were you much better than the other kids your age, or are you one of those people that kind of improved a bit more once you grew up?
It was tough. I was always a very good seamer. Bowled nice away swing, tried to give it a bit of a tonk at the time, or tried to hit the big ones, which always was my downfall, but always bowled quite nice away swing, I suppose, and then obviously got injured doing that and changed to off spin now, as you say. But I considered myself more of a batter, but a lot of people probably considered me more of a bowling all-rounder, whereas I thought I was myself as a batter who wanted to bowl.
Yeah. Well, you know, your journey's taken you all the way to the Scottish national team that you first represented in 2014. So tell us a little bit about what that experience has been like. Obviously, representing your country is a huge honour, and some of the adventures that you have been part of as part of the Scotland setup.
Yeah, I mean, I was luckily actually made my debut against Kenya in 2013 in Aberdeen. So I made it on my rival's ground in 2013 against Kenya. But my journey started 13, 12, 11, 10, driving up and down to Edinburgh to Scotland trials. And from there, I mean, you see there on the screen, I mean, obviously it took us to Scotland beating England. So my journey's gone from aspiring to be like Kyle and all the rest of the Scottish cricketers that have come before, to playing alongside your best mates, your heroes, whatever. So, I mean, the journey's taken me to two World Cup 50 overs, two 2020 World Cup qualifiers and one 2020 World Cup in India, which we didn't make it through to the actual main event. But look, I mean, it's taken me to some phenomenal places, meeting some amazing people. Managed just to go on a tour to Pakistan with the MCC as well. So cricket's amazing. I mean, as you can see there above with the photos of some actually amazing things that you can do on a cricket field. I mean, having taken on Pakistan, Australia, Sri Lanka and teams like that, you just never thought it would happen. Whereas when it actually does happen, you kind of almost pinch yourself and say, well, I was just a kid thinking I might have played cricket at one point, and now I'm actually living it. You know, it's very strange.
Yeah, and it can happen gradually, can't it? What I hear is, because you do it one rung at a time, you work your way up the ladder one rung at a time, and then suddenly you must get to the top and the pinnacle, the international cricket scene, and you think, how did this happen? You know, you feel like you're probably still that kid going out there with your dad, 7 years of age, with the little bat getting delivered to your door. But it's inspirational, really, to hear your story, and everyone around Europe and around the world, if you have a child or something, just let them know that could be them one day, because, yeah, if you just stick at it and work hard and work your way up the grades, have some good performances. We used to say at the level I was playing, which was on the brink of the first class scene here in Australia, was that you're only ever about 4 good innings away from playing Test cricket. They say, like, perhaps. So, that's really cool. Now, we did want to mention this. Now, Daniel Weston has mentioned in the comments about your Instagram being one of his favourite things to watch because of some outstanding content on there. And yeah, so we might just show this. Now, this is against England in 2018, and of course, you were big underdogs in that game. Ended up winning the game. Now you came in late in the innings. Now, often we tell people have a look at a ball or two, get your eye in, but this isn't what you did, because talk us through this. This is Wood from England, Mark Wood. First ball.
Yeah, first ball.
Absolutely pounded.
You don't understand how much stick I think I'm going to get for this. Look, I mean, sometimes you get lucky. Normally you're meant to play yourself in, but when you've only got 6 balls left of the innings, I mean, I had a guy at the other end in 140 odd. I mean, I probably should have taken one and got him on strike, but I mean, I got lucky.
What's the fun in that?
No, exactly. Whereas the ball was in my slot, and you get lucky sometimes. As I say, adrenaline's absolutely going through the roof, and you get one out the screws. But luckily enough, I've done it on a couple of occasions now on a Scotland shirt, so it's kind of something I'm known for having done it once or twice.
You've almost killed that spectator. That spectator's fallen about three rows forward, and so I think you might have owed him a beer or two.
Oh.
But yeah, so thank you so much. I know you sent us in 12 or 13 angles of that video, but we weren't able to show them all. But we do appreciate that, Michael. Also, one thing you mentioned to me is you pride yourself on your fielding, and we've got you bowling here to Joe Root, and this must have been pretty fun to run out the England Test captain.
Yeah, I mean, you don't look at the delivery. It's a pretty shocking delivery I've bowled there, but I mean, yeah.
This one here on the boundary, talk us through this one.
Yeah, I think, in honesty, that one, if I'd known where my fielder was, the other partner coming running round, I mean, we probably should have grabbed it. But look, I mean, we pride ourselves on fielding in Scotland, and it's something that if you spend a little bit of time on, you can come really good at it, because as we say, you've got 90% of your time you're spending in the field, because you're playing 50 over games, sometimes 2, 3, 4-day cricket. It becomes an absolute necessity. And if you can't field, sometimes you can get yourself in the team with 2 aspects. Batting and bowling sometimes nowadays aren't enough. If you can field and bat, or field and bowl, you've got more of a chance, especially in lower leagues and stuff like that. If you can field as well, it's absolute dynamite. People then want to pick you more on your fielding ability rather than on the cricketing. You know, it gives you you become so dynamic to so many teams, and it just makes you so much more pickable. Yeah.
And now, do you find, I know that coaching is an area that you're quite interested in going into in the years ahead, but do you find that fielders are born, not made, or do you think that bad fielders with a bit of practice can become good fielders? How much do you think is built into the player, and how much do you think can be practiced and improved with regards to fielding?
I think it's both. I think some people are natural athletes in the field, and I do say athlete because you get the ones like your Rhodeses used to be, your Pontings used to be, your absolute athletes. So you've got them, but then you've got guys who work on it as well. You'll never see them. You'll see them do their batting, but if you actually watch them afterwards, they spend about an hour and a half, 2 hours on their fielding every day. So they absolutely nail it, and they want to be the best. So that's probably what I'd say. Without practice, you can't do anything. I've even had the wife trying to throw balls on the wall, reaction stuff at home, just to try and keep catching, you know. So I mean, that sort of thing, you do. I would say the best in the world, or even the good fielders in the world, put so many hours of practice into the field. And to be honest.
Yeah, and at the moment that we have to be quite innovative with the way that you practice. But that is something I've heard from a lot of elite players as well. It wasn't just the practice they did with their team or with their coaches and stuff. They would find ways to practice around the house or with their friends, just making up these games just to improve their skills, improve their reflexes. So you mentioned the one, so your wife, Anna, would throw balls? Would you have to face the wall? And
I've had her bowling, I've had her throwing, I've had her catching. We've been doing everything just to try and do a little bit of cricket, try and keep some going. But yeah, catching wise, facing the wall, just getting to throw it over your shoulder so that you can't see where it's coming from, reaction.
Yeah.
Anything more to just sort of like keep a bit of reflexes, because when it comes back to outdoor and you've got guys absolutely belting it at you, that's the last thing you want, just to come off it a bit cold. And because it's also a confidence thing. It's like the rest of your game. If you're confident in your fielding, you're confident in the rest of your game as well. So you don't want to be scared under a high ball, or I mean, So yeah, there's nothing worse than being a little bit scared in the field as well, it's a massive confidence thing. So
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I hope it's only the balls she's throwing at you, because I don't know what kind of marriage you have, but I know there's a lot of people in cricket. They often have not just in cricket, they need to have quick reflexes because, yeah, some of the girls have pretty powerful arms, and yeah, you don't want to be on the end of something sharp. Now, we've got a question here from Hamza Tahir, and he has a question, and you're the right person to ask. He wants to know, how do you hit the ball so hard, Michael?
Well, I played alongside Hamza for the last couple of years. He's one of my fellow Scottish compadres. So, Hamza, to answer your question, I think it's all a bit of timing. It's all about time. Sometimes it's how hard you swing, but sometimes it doesn't matter. You've got to have some good bats, and I suppose I'm lucky enough to have some good bats in the locker as well.
Yeah. And how long, with these bats now, how long do they last? Because we know they seem to have a bigger sweet spot compared to the old bats, and there's a lot more volume of wood, it seems, that they can get in there and balance within the dimensions that are allowable. But what's a typical bat that you would use? How long would you use it for?
It depends. I try and do a bit of repairs on them myself, unless they're unrepairable. But I've got a couple in the locker at the moment, are a couple of years old, maybe 2, 3. Yeah. Depends. Some break quick depending on the wood. I mean, you get some good wood which snaps quick, and you get some good wood which lasts you 2, 3, 4 years. It's pot luck really with a bit of wood.
Well, we know in a lot of the European countries where cricket's just a developing sport, sometimes they have to share 3 or 4 bats within a team, you know. So I remember whenever I see one break, for example, in a Dream 11 European Cricket Series, it looks like they're very disappointed because that might have been a favourite one of the team.
No.
Now we've got another question from Andy Ben Ravioli. He says, "Have you ever hit a 6 and thought, wow, that's massive?"
No, I've been hit for one though. 2018 qualifiers in the World Cup, playing against West Indies. I stupidly went wicket hunting. It was Carlos Brathwaite hit me out of the ground.
Oh, wow.
Out of the ground. It was still going up as it went out the ground. To which the captain turned to me and went, "Oh my goodness, that is massive." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. Thanks for that." I mean, yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah. When your captain, when your captain goes, "Oh, that's huge," you go, "Oh no, that's the last thing you want." But yeah,
well, I'm sure a lot of bowlers know that fielding, and with 50-metre boundaries in the European Cricket League, there wasn't much margin for error for the bowlers. And moving to that, of course, the European Cricket League has been postponed to 2021 due to the COVID-19 situation. But you were due to make an appearance with your club, Forfarshire. So tell us a little bit about the club, Forfarshire Cricket Club in Scotland, and yeah, just fill our viewers in.
Yeah, so I joined Forfs back in 2014 to 2015. They're a great club. Look, they've got some real good people behind the scenes at the club who put in a lot of hard work in terms of the ground stuff, the nets, just the general looking after it. But then we've actually got a really top group of players as well that are really keen, because we had a dome built back in 2017, I think it was now, an indoor centre.
Wow.
And, I mean,
you need that in Scotland.
We're so lucky. Yeah, we're the only club in Scotland which has got one, so it means we can train whatever day of the week, rain, hail, shine, no matter what, we've got facilities. So it's made such a difference in terms of development, because it now actually means we can, no matter what, we can do catching indoors, you can have your nets, you can do real skill basics no matter what the weather. So I think that's really helped the guys. And obviously last year we won the treble, which was huge for the club, because it's the first time in its history which we actually won the treble, which is we won the league, the North v South champions, and then the 2020, which would have led us to the European Cricket League, to be honest.
Yeah, and we certainly hope we see you there next year. And of course, there's still up in the air about whether there'll be any club cricket in Scotland this year. We were having a chat about it last week, and so we really don't know that. We would hope at least that if there is a competition played in the 2020 this year in Scotland, that you'd at least get the chance to play off against the winners. That's what the European Cricket League has advised the countries to do that are organising that. But I guess it's a little bit too early to say. But did you see any of the European Cricket League last year? What were your impressions?
Yeah, I mean, I actually caught a bit of it on Scottish TV, on the Freeview TV. So I caught a little bit of it. It looks like there was some big swings, some big sixes, but also some entertaining cricket. I mean, look, it looked passionate. Everyone looked like they had a great time. The Dutch team looked like they had a really good side as well. So it was looking like it was going to be a really good tournament for us to be involved in, and hopefully coming into 2021 now it would obviously be. Hopefully we can still be involved and play a big part in the European Cricket League.
Yeah, I think you'd love those 50-metre boundaries when you're batting, Michael. I'm not so sure about when you're bowling. In fact, that was one of the issues with the spinners. I mean, some of these balls that were not quite hitting the middle of the bat, that on larger cricket fields would be wickets, they were definitely sixes in the European Cricket League. So I guess we hope to see you out there next year in 2021, and we'll just have to see what happens. Now, a couple more questions. Mike, we've got Judith van der Venden from Holland says, in the Netherlands, you see more and more players being sponsored for their bats, etc., by the suppliers and the makers. Is this the same situation in Scotland?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite common in Scotland. So a lot of club guys try and get sponsored by the companies as well, even youth cricketers all the way up throughout the ranks. I mean, it's a bit of luck to get sponsored as well, isn't it? Right time, right place. I'm lucky enough that I'm sponsored by a company that's owned by the guy who's also one of my colleagues. So I'm sponsored by the Scottish captain as it is. So I'm lucky enough to be sponsored by him. But a lot of the guys go with sort of bigger brands, or it depends. It's all down to preference of what people really like to use, or
sure.
Yeah. So I think it's all down to preference.
Well, that's good at least, and it's great to hear that some of the Netherlands guys are getting sponsored. And you would have probably met them. Well, you may still, because you guys qualified for the T20 World Cup, which is meant to start, I think it's October 18 in Australia. Now, that is still on at this stage, so we're not sure. The thing in Australia, the situation is improving. Touch wood, we've had a reasonable amount of success in containing the spread of coronavirus, but I guess it's got a lot to do with what's happening in the other countries as well. But you did really well to qualify, didn't you? Because there was this qualifier tournament in the UAE back in October where 14 countries took part. Only 6 could make it through to the big dance, as we were calling it, the T20 World Cup. So it must have been a really great experience. I know not every result went your way in that tournament, but you did achieve the target of qualifying.
Yeah, look, we made it quite tough for ourselves, like we always do. Sometimes in these tournaments, we never make it easy for ourselves. But no, we qualified. Look, we've played against the Dutch so many times now. We're pretty much good friends with them all. Or when as soon as you get on the field, it just goes out the window. I mean, we play against them a handful of times every summer. We used to have sort of regional tournaments against them as well. So they used to come across to us and we used to go across to them. So, but we've also played in the same sides as well. So, I mean, a lot of the guys nowadays, when it comes to cricket, you've got franchise cricket, like your Canada leagues, your USA leagues, whatever it is, you now actually play alongside them as well. So you get to know them quite well, but that doesn't help you when it becomes a big tournament. It's a one-game shootout. And again, when we go to hopefully the big dance in Australia, it could be quite interesting because obviously they've now got some new guys as well, and we've obviously got some guys coming back, and could be quite an exciting fixture when we get around to it.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed that things improve across the globe and we can still see you down under. If it's not this year, whenever the tournament takes place, it'll be fantastic to see you playing the T20 World Cup. Now, just before we go, I want to talk about a bit of your personal life, if you don't mind. And could you introduce us to this character? He's been on your lap a couple of times.
Oh,
Who's
that
this?
dude. I'll try and get him through for you. Fred. Oh, he's eating his dinner. We might struggle with that. He's having a bit of an eat of his dinner.
Tell us a little bit about Freddie, though. Maybe we can meet him on Thursday, of course.
Yeah, we'll try.
At the same time.
We'll try. Look, he's a little sprocker. We'll try and get him through. Is Fred available? Fred,
it's okay.
Are you coming through? Come here. Look, here's the internet sensation. We'll see if we can get his little internet sensation. Come here.
Yeah, a lot of people have said he's more popular than you on the internet.
Oh,
so we'll see why.
We'll see why. Freddie, come here. Look, come see. There we go. There's a little dude for everyone available who loves their dogs.
That's his good
No,
side.
that's his bad
the,
side. Sorry, folks. I'm afraid he's not wanting to play ball, but he
what kind
wants
of
his
dog
dinner.
is Freddie?
He's a sprocker, so we actually got him from a company or a couple of friends that are just down the road from us as well. So we've been really lucky with him, and he's keeping me company through this tough time as well. So it's nice to have a little bit of company.
And spending time, I assume, with your wife Anna as well. And how's that going? Because we're worried that what kind of effect this forced isolation is having on people. So you're not. Has it made you stronger, or has it made you not stronger?
Well, so far, I mean, she's now back to work. So we had about 3.5 weeks of isolation. So unfortunately for me, I got stuck making sheds and gardening and stuff like that. But nah, look, it's great. It's probably helped because, as I say, with cricket, you're away so often. I mean, it's great to actually spend a bit of time together because when I'm at home, she's at work. When I'm away, it can be quite tough, I suppose. So it's actually great to spend a bit of time, even though in the circumstances it is. I mean, it's actually been brilliant, to be fair, and getting to actually do stuff.
It's one of the positives, isn't it?
It is one of the
traveling
positives.
so much with cricket.
Yeah.
It's a chance for you to spend some time at home, and you don't have the distraction of children running around. But maybe we'll stay tuned with that because have an isolation baby on the way or something. Anything you want to tell us? Or?
Nothing yet. No. Thankfully, nothing yet.
There's an idea, Anna. If you're listening, if you're watching that, never time like now. I think you can be 30 this year. Are you 30 yet? I think you're turning 30.
No, 30 in October. So yeah, that's another daunting one for me.
So you're meant to be in Australia for your birthday, I think.
Well, I think
quite
so.
Possibly.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that all goes well.
If you're here, then I'd love to share it with you, Michael. But for now, I just want to thank you for being on the show tonight. Of course, you're invited back Thursday at the same time. It's 5 p.m. in Central Europe. It's 4 o'clock in the UK, and it's 8:30 in India. If you want to join us and you have any questions for Michael Leask. But anyway, Michael, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight and learning a bit more about you, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Cheers, Vinny. Thanks for having us. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
So Michael Leask, the Scotland international and Forfarshire representative. It was great to have him on the show. And this is what's coming up, guys. Don't forget, if you go to www.ecn.cricket on Friday or Saturday or Sunday this week, you win a fantastic prize in our European Cricket Quiz, sponsored by Painter. And we thank Painter for their support. Open 6 a.m. Friday and closes on 6 p.m. on Sunday. We've already had a couple of very, very happy winners, so make sure you get on the website to answer 6 simple questions and you could win that prize. And don't forget to keep tuning in to European Cricket Studio because there will be questions tomorrow and the next day, which could be in that quiz on the weekend and have you wearing those fantastic cricket shoes. Coming up tomorrow, Michael McCann has his 1-hour interactive chat with guests, including featured guest Amjad Khan, who was very, very interesting last night in his chat with Michael. Talked about growing up in Denmark, bowling really fast, making the move to England, and ultimately playing international cricket for England, which was a really, really interesting story and the relationships he made along the way. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at the very same time for This Is Chat with Amjad Khan. Then Thursday, Michael Leask will be back with me on my Maximo chat show, and we hope to have your company then. But for now, on behalf of all of us at the European Cricket Studio, thanks for watching and see you again soon. Don't forget to follow us if you don't already at European Cricket. But for now, this is Mr. Maximo. And until next time, wherever you are around the world, keep hitting them high and handsome. Goodbye for now.